campus. So welcome everyone. Yes, please add your name and which Seeds chapter you're from in the chat box, because I can already see there are some new names joining us today. So welcome everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Sandra Del Rio. I'm the professional programs coordinator at ESA. So you've probably seen my emails, maybe also messages in Slack and whatnot. So that's me. And I work basically part-time with Seeds, mostly with chapters, and the other half of my time I dedicate to ESA's professional ecologist certification program. So you'll see me dabble between those two. But it's overall to advance ecology as a profession, so, and as a field. So, but today we're talking about Seeds chapters. So giving you like a little overview of today. Again, because especially now it's we have new officers coming in. I think it'd be great if we I have a little bit of an icebreaker for you guys, and maybe introduce ourselves. Fred and I will give you an overview of some of the many things we have in these upcoming months. Some reminders there, and also new resources for you and your chapter. And then we want to leave space, make sure to leave space for questions and answers, and you guys to just maybe share the activities you're doing, because I've noticed that you guys have been active and even working with with other chapters, so that's great. I want to hear from you. I want you to share it with the rest of the chapters. So yeah, I really want time for us to have time for that. So before I go into the field trip, I'm adding this little poll. If you can just take a minute, and like, now that we have a new logo, which says Seeds very clearly, I'm wondering, like, what is the first thing that comes to your mind, like the first word that comes to your mind when you see the name of this program, Seeds? And then I'm going to turn it over to, while you guys input those words, I'm going to actually turn it over to Fred. Fred, do you want to say who you are?
I can give a quick introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Fred Abbott. I'm the Diversity Program Manager at the Ecological Society of America, and I get to run the day-to-day activities of the Seeds program in conjunction with Sandra. We have a lot going on in this academic year, and we're very excited to see you all here joining us for the first chapter check-in, one of many that are going to go all through the academic year. So Sandra and I are here to both provide support and guidance for those students and yourselves that are in the leadership positions as far as your careers related to ecology. So think about Seeds. It's a mentoring program. So think about it as filling in the gaps that you would not otherwise receive in the academic setting. And so, Isabella, it's good to see you again. We've had our first event happened last month. It was the ESA annual meeting, happens every second week of August. We hosted that meeting the first time internationally since I've been staff at ESA going on 11 years now. So it was a challenge and also super rewarding to be able to see colleagues and friends again after such a long time. That being said, I do have some really cool announcements, including one application that is currently open for students to apply to, and that's any student within the Seeds program or outside of the Seeds chapter network as well. We're hosting a field trip at the Harper Brook Experimental Forest. That's at the border of New Hampshire and Vermont. This is a fully funded field experience for undergraduates that might not otherwise have field experiences. So think of this as like dabbling your feet into what a career in ecology might look like. And that, of course, has a lot to do with research stations where our data is collected. And so Harper Brook is part of the LTER network, which is a long-term ecological research site. They have a long history studying watersheds and northeastern forest systems, including it's a site with the USDA Forest Service. So we're very excited to partner up with them and host a field trip there. The dates for that field trip are October 27th to the 30th. It's right before Halloween, but the application still remains open until September 30th. So it's a quick 3 weeks after that to see who gets selected and then booking all the travel super quick. Besides that, other big announcements that you might be aware of. Actually, no, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Sandra, you have the chapters. Yes, you got rid of my slide, so I lost track. Cool thing about this application, though, is that we got rid of letters of recommendation. We're the first time trying this within the SEEDS program. So we're really trying to make it as easy as possible for our students to be able to apply and realize that sometimes the letter of recommendation can be a barrier, especially for the students that we want to attend this event, which are like, don't have previous field experiences and can easily ask, faculty and stuff for those kinds of letters. So it's all up to the statement. So we're going to go ahead and I'll let Sandra take care of all the rest of the stuff for this meeting, but I'm excited to see your names in the application pool.
Yeah, and speaking of names, I'm just gonna, you should popcorn it to someone. Yeah, I stopped sharing the screen because I wanted first to just go around the room and introduce ourselves, and then we can start talking about the events. So do I have any volunteers, or I'll just go with, actually Nick, because you were the first one to sign it.
Hi, I'm Nick Keehan, Emory Seed / Emory Ecological Society. Was there something you wanted us to say?
Just I am basically the same thing in the chat, but.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
All right. Let's see, Esther.
Hello, I'm Esther. I'm from Agnes Scott College, which is like a small women's liberal arts college in Atlanta. So we're actually very close to Nick.
Isabella.
My name is Isabella. I'm president of the SEEDS chapter at Temple University in Philadelphia.
Eric.
Hey guys, I'm Eric. I'm the president of VCU Seeds in Richmond. Pretty excited to be joining. We're just brand new.
Yes. Phoebe.
Hi, I'm Phoebe. I'm also part of the VCU Seeds chapter in Richmond, Virginia.
Marley.
Hi, I'm Marley. I'm the vice president of the chapter at Florida State University.
And just Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. I go by she, her pronouns, and I'm the president of SEEDS at WashU in St. Louis.
Awesome, thank you. So now we have faces new again. So welcome Eric, Phoebe, Sam. So let's go back to business, and the poll should be open. So feel free to jot in the word that comes to mind at any time. I would love to see, how that word cloud looks like at the end. So yeah. And Fred, do you want to elaborate more on the field trip? Something that maybe you didn't mention earlier?
I think I covered most of it, but again, I'll cover quickly the points. We pay for everything. It's free to the students. You just get to the airport, we'll take care of everything. Again, super simple application, and the application deadline is September 30th. We've been doing this for a long time. For program is running for 26 years, but we've been doing field trips for about 23 of those. So we have a lot of experience in taking students and making sure that you guys have a good time. So please, please, please advertise this with your chapter students. A quick reminder also, as applicants from SEEDS chapters, you do get a score bonus. You do have a higher likelihood of being selected to participate in this, even though it's an opportunity that's open to any undergraduate enrolled in a U.S. institution. So keep that in mind, and welcome.
Does anybody have any questions so far about the field trip? Okay, I don't see any.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know some chapters do research projects, and I know that for us to like we've been sharing the information about the field trip with some of our like underclassmen members. If they've I know that like in the application you are preferencing like people who don't have formal research experience. Would you consider like research experience as a part of a SEEDS chapter to be like,
When
Like-
I mentioned field experience, sorry, I should be clear with that. Yes, it involves experiences on campus, but mostly it involves travel research experience. So for example, students that haven't had an REU, that haven't spent the summer, you know, working at a field site or something like that. So we go, it takes us a while longer to get through applications than most programs, because we really do take a deep dive in trying to gauge what's the student's experience so far. So I'll be honest, for field trips, yes, the priority is people that haven't had field experience, but that doesn't mean that, you know, it's not open to those. And again, it varies on the application. And also who's reviewing those applications. We have alumni that do that for us. So there's always a chance. Again, we do targeted advertising. So this is an opportunity that's applied to by hundreds of people. We don't want that. That's not the way that the program works. So yeah, there's not just opening. Anybody can apply. So go ahead and apply.
Okay. Thanks, Nick, and thank you, Fred. We'll move ahead, and so we also have the chapters grant applications that's open. A little bit different from last year, that we have this like period where we were accepting applications, and then when it closed, that's when they would be reviewed. Now we're trying to work more on a rolling basis. So if you apply now, it's reviewed within a certain time frame, and then if you're, you know, if you're applying next month, then we will work on that the next month, instead of waiting for the whole package of applications to roll in and process each one. So all in all, it's the requirements are the same. If you're making a individual project, you can ask for up to $1,000. If you're doing a collaborative project with another SEEDS chapter, you can ask for up to $5,000. So again, we want to really incentivize more collaborative work with and amongst chapters. But we also have to have like a closing period, at least for this semester. We'll see how this goes this semester, but then for the spring, we might open it up. It just depends on how this works. It's kind of new, this rolling basis. It will close on December 2nd. Again, many go on like break and holiday break. So yeah, just be aware of that. The earlier you apply, if you meet all the requirements and everything's in order, the faster you're probably gonna get that the funding. If you have any questions, of course you can email me, or you can email the SEEDS email address.
Yeah, also, I would like to mention, you know, we have limited funds for this. So the sooner you get those projects in, changing it to a rolling application, you know, with an application period allows you to get access to those funds quicker instead of like having it just be once a year. We're trying to be more accessible and more inclusive to those chapters. So keep that in mind, talk to your leadership and see if you're interested in applying.
Thanks, Fred. And I just wanted to add a couple of examples, because I know from past, you know, conversations I've had with you guys, you want to hear more about projects that other chapters are doing. And well, specifically, I wanted to share a couple of examples from last academic years or last year's grant awardees. So the first image is CUNY Hunter Seeds. They did this Adirondack Mountains and a John Brown farm trip. So it was a lot of research, but it was also very much diversity focused. They gave a lot of historical information about the John Brown Farm. And I saw in the reports, they added some of the testimonials that the students that went there gave, and it was all, it sounded like a very a well-rounded experience and very enriching for them. So that's always great to see and read. University of California, Riverside, they have more information on the website, but they went to the Santa Cruz Island research trip, and they also presented a poster about their research at ESA's annual meeting in Montreal. So it was kind of cool seeing like the other things that come from awards, these awards. So it's great. And I added Temple because it's a relatively new chapter as of last year. So it was great that they used that money to do a different variety of activities throughout the academic year to really get that chapter going, from trivia nights to their own field trips or visits to the insectarium. So yeah, giving some examples there, but again, you can do something completely different. Any questions so far about the grant? Okay. So just as a reminder, we have the second part of the SEEDS chapter annual reports coming up. So this was announced back in April, if I'm not mistaken, but we have changed the reporting period to be, instead of being just one set like form, we've divided it into two. One is submitted at the end of May. We just ask for a summary of the activities you did during that academic year. And then during the fall, what we're asking now, it's essentially an updated roster of what your chapter looks like. So that's due in October. And I do want to give a shout out to Emory. They were the first to submit part 2. So yay. And I think Colorado State. So I submitted it today. So I did not have time to add it here, but hooray to them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, this information is like very helpful, and we can keep our records updated and keep you, informed of what's going on.
And also, more importantly, ask for more sources of funding. So for many years, we've kind of not kept track of the impact of our chapters. So it's important for you as chapter leaders to report back on members and emails and so forth, because we use that not only to promote chapter activities or program activities, of course, but also to measure the impact of our chapter network. And so that will allow us then to, ask for more funding that will then provide students with more opportunities.
Yes, and I just added like a little how-to here because I noticed there was a slight confusion on how this works. So you go to our website and you click on this hyperlink section that says this template, and you actually download it. Download the template. Please don't edit the spreadsheet. I don't know how a chapter did that. It was not supposed to be editable, but just download the template, work on it offline, add your chapter's contact information. And I added some definitions here because again, each chapter is different, but to have some like uniformity, these 3 areas are very important, like your chapter name, which could or could not have the SEEDS name. It could include your institution's name, but it's your chapter's name. It's supposed to be in the certificate you were given when you started as a chapter. Your university or academic institution, that's, I think, pretty self-explanatory. But then the role and position in chapters. So this is super important. So to avoid confusions and again, keep our records as correct as possible. we need to have a student president, student representative. So it can be a president, or you can call them student representative, but please point out who in that list is the student representative, who is that main contact person, is the liaison between your SEEDS chapter and ESA. When it comes to faculty, we also want that. It's not just students that graduate. I mean, there's faculty that retire or they leave their position, or their commitment changes. So we also need an update on that. And again, there's the primary faculty advisor, and then you may or may not have a co-advisor. So again, point that out under the role/position in chapter column. And yes, here's the format. Please save it as an Excel workbook and add your chapter's name so I can identify it. Try to not leave it just like SEEDS chapter roster template. I'll probably rename it, but if you can do that, when you upload it, that would be great. And that leads me to the actual part where you have to go back again to our website, find this lovely brief form, and we're gonna ask a little bit of general information, and there will be a section asking you to upload that Excel file that you made, and you hit submit and you're done. That's all we need. I won't bother you anymore until May. And not all responsibility. In case you didn't know, there is a new SEEDS logo, and luckily I was able to work with the designer and get also a version for chapters this week. So I was able to put together a logo toolkit. I shared in our Slack group. So again, it has different file versions. I think we also have a version here that's called multicolor, but there's also that it's only teal. And this is the version for chapters where you can place your chapter's name. I thought it was a neat thing, but you don't have to use it. But if you do want to use that, you can use it. And of course, the official SEEDS logo that's also included in the toolkit, as well as instructions and some how-to guides about just branding and some do's and don'ts. So I hope you find it valuable. Any questions? Okay. Right. Well, that's pretty much it. I don't. So what I wanna, if you don't have any questions, I'll ask, because I know Nick Emery and Agnes Scott, right? You guys did something recently together. Do you want to share with the group what that was?
Esther, I don't know if you want to talk about it, or I can talk about the first part and you can talk about the second part, or yeah. Okay, so Emory Seeds, or Emory Ecological Society, we typically do a lot of outdoor nature walks and things like that. That's sort of one of our signature programs. And so at the start of each year, we do a plant walk. And so I guess we invited Agnes Scott to come over to our campus. And so they sent a delegation, I guess. It was super cool. We had a lot of fun. And then Esther, I don't know if you want to talk about next weekend.
Yes. And so none of us at Agnes Scott are ecology or have ecological expertise. I'm a neuroscience major. So Nick and Caroline, the president and vice president of Emory Seeds, they're going to come over to our campus this Saturday and take us on a walk around our campus to explain what kind of plants and birds, and we also have a bug expert coming. So Everyone's going to explain what's like going on our campus, and yeah, so we're going to host that plant walk that Nick hosted on Emory's campus, like on Agnes Scott campus now.
Agnes Scott has like a ton of super cool plants as well, because like their campus is an arboretum, and it's like really amazing to see, like sort of, we're only like 10 minutes away or something, but yeah.
Awesome, that's great. And did you already know, because Emory, it's also a relatively new chapter, and I think Agnes Scott, you're also kind of new, or it like revived recently. So how did you like connect, and like why did this happen?
I think when Emory Seeds like got recognized, I was looking at the other chapters, and then I saw
Okay.
there was one at Agnes Scott, and then I think I followed them on Instagram,
Nice.
and then we like Instagram DM'd, and then like we're emailing. And then this summer, the president of Emory Seeds and I, like we went to Agnes Scott's campus and we did like a walk around, and we're looking at some like collaboration opportunities between our two chapters.
Right. That's awesome. I mean, if it's Instagram, that's great. And yeah, so you see, you don't have to have a grant to do these things. It can happen just like visiting one another, or just like asking questions through Instagram or what have you. But if it does, you get more ideas, and you're like, well, we should do like a big event, like I don't want to say conference, but something like that, like a field trip together. Know that you have the option to, apply for the grants.
I did actually have a specific question about
Sure.
the grants. Does it cover like honoraria?
Like paying someone.
Right.
I
That's
have,
a tricky one. Yeah, I would say that's a tricky one. Normally we would not cover like honoraria. Say if you want to like put together a symposium or something, and you want to ask somebody to travel like to the conference and maybe cover that. I would say it very highly depends on the impact of that event. So how many people will that amount of money, end up reaching?
Okay.
so there is a proposal guidelines. I'm looking it up right now. It's like on our page, and it'll specify what things we do cover and which ones we do not. I'm just trying to find the exact like language. It's also
Yeah.
it's on our website, but give me 1 second. I don't want to give you like wrong information. So what we do not fund, I'm just looking at our website. Projects
Yeah,
that support research activities of individuals, so like you're paying to do for the research of like a professor or something like that. Projects that do not engage underrepresented audiences or extend the mission of seats. Travel expenses to meetings and conferences that are not organized by the chapter or chapters. Salaries, indirect or overhead costs. So yeah, I from last year, it covers like renting things from vans and spaces, but I think we were clear like in the agreement that yeah, and even in the guidelines that we say like that's not covered.
Yeah, and not to be discouraging, Nick, it's just in true nonprofit fashion.
Right.
We ask people to volunteer their time towards a lot of these projects, even for field trips and stuff. When I'm hosting, for example, right now today, I just had the conversation with the USDA and asking federal employees if they could possibly come in on a Saturday because we're going to be there and we're going to need help. But yeah, I don't have the funds to cover people's expenses and so forth.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
maybe not bringing them in, but maybe if they would be willing to do it remotely, doing a Zoom event, maybe possibly bringing pizza.
For sure.
This
Yeah,
is
we
always
have like
good.
a potential like very cool thing that might happen, but like we have like other funding opportunities that we can look at as well. So
Good to know. Does anybody else have any questions as far as the grants goes? Because if not, I would like you guys to share like some of the possible activities that you're thinking about hosting this semester. The first check-in. So anybody willing to share?
I can go ahead. Also, it's kind of a little bit of a question too. But okay, so for our one of our activities this year we're really excited about is we're planning on doing kind of like a partner activity with our local community college, Tallahassee Community College. And I think it's going to be really impactful because we've heard from a lot of people that a lot of people transfer from TCC to FSU, and they often have a hard time like finding their way and feeling like they're part of FSU, and we like lose a lot of people like because of that. And I think our partner event is we're going to be doing a research activity. So we're actually going to go out and collect data for a data network. We might do one called HerbVar, which is like doing herbivory data collection, or we could also do this thing called adoptive and ephemeral wetland, which is you're taking water samples and it actually helps them, like the organization, monitor like water quality to reintroduce species. And we think that this would be really impactful because we're kind of like expanding our reach in our area, but also we think it might help students, like transfer students, to get experience they may not have had otherwise.
So Marley, is there a question?
Yes, sorry. Okay, question.
It
How
seems like an
would
awesome
funding work?
activity. We encourage outreach to other institutions. And specifically, like, by the way, if your institution might not have, access to a lot of diverse students with interest in, ecology and the environmental sciences, outreach is always highly encouraged. So this is very exciting. But
Yeah.
you had a question.
Yeah, so my question is, I guess because I know you said that if you have two chapters collaborating, then you can request more. Would this not be the case if it wasn't a chapter, but it was like a different school?
This would not be the case, no. So it would be with another established SEEDS chapters. Although there are others in Florida that we can put you in contact with. If that's the case, if that's what's needed to, make something like this happen and $1,000 isn't enough, we can see if another chapter would like to participate in this. But the idea is to use these funds within the chapter network. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that would be great. We're trying to, because I don't think UF doesn't have one, right?
UF has one. They're not active though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same as actually in Tallahassee, Florida A&M was an active SEEDS chapter and no longer. So the other thing that might be of interest is asking if those students at TCC might be interested in starting a SEEDS chapter. SEEDS chapters don't have to be at four-year institutions. They can be at community colleges too.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Yeah, but yes, for sure look into applying, even if it is for the individual project. For sure. It sounds like it ticks all the boxes, to be honest. I mean, although it's not a chapter, you can still it can still be a project that we would support.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Anybody else want to share their semester plans?
I can share.
Trimesters or quarters?
Yeah.
We're currently working on just having our first introductory meeting. We're hoping to get a pizza party, but campus the student activities organizations won't get back to us about our funding. So we'll see, but we're gonna get everyone together. And then we're hoping we actually have a satellite campus in the suburbs of Philly, and they've actually just started a research station, and they've been working with like categorizing Forest Geo, categorizing like their entire forest. So we're really excited to go up there and get a tour of like their greenhouses and stuff. And then they also just set up a ropes course. So I'm really excited about that. Hopefully we can kind of collaborate with them more in the future. And then,
Sorry, Isabella, you said ropes?
yeah, like I think it's like a combination of like zip lining and like
Okay, okay.
yeah. I don't know how, it's probably not that big, but it's definitely like a fun activity, and we can get like free busing there and everything. So I'm excited about that. And then I'm currently working with the Environmental Engineering Club to organize like a joint volunteer event. It's kind of funny because their acronym is like SEES and we're seeds, so pretty close. I think it's meant to be. And then we're thinking about doing just like a field trip in December to the Natural History Museum downtown. But long term, I'm very inspired after being at the meeting and everything. To hopefully like maybe find another club to collaborate with and like do a field trip sometime in maybe April. But I just have to find a club near me.
That's great.
Anybody else would like to share?
I have heard about like underwater basket making courses, but not a ropes class, so.
Yeah, for a second there, you said ropes course, and I was like, oh, another statistical analysis, like, Python R ropes. So you can hang yourself. That's not a good joke. Anybody else who wants to share?
Yeah, I can share. So for our Seeds chapter here, all of our exec is currently like all new. So we are still in the process of being transitioned from the previous exec leaders. So it's a lot of like logistics right now, a lot of figuring out how our student union works, how to get funding, stuff like that. But we are in communication with Tyson Research Center, which is near us. I would like to have some event over there. They teach about like plants and woody plants in Missouri, a lot about edible things that you can find in the forest. The research center is a part of my school, which would be a lot easier to plan. But yeah, just stuff like that, a lot of logistics right now.
Awesome. I hope you get all your answers, questions, and it's but there's no easy right, so many bureaucracy and everywhere, but I hope it's like as smooth sailing as possible, so you guys can go and do all the things you want to do.
Yeah, when I used to run a Seeds chapter myself, we had to jump through all those loopholes, and I think we only got like $96 a semester or something like that when the pot was split amongst all the, it really wasn't worth it, but we had to be recognized on campus, so it was crazy. Anybody else would like to share about the semester plans?
I could share a little bit.
A little bit, okay.
A little bit.
Secretive.
So yeah, we're brand new, and us officers aren't really super experienced with running a club, so we're still definitely learning the ropes on how to get things done here at VCU. But yeah, we're having our first meeting tomorrow. Actually, we're doing a field trip to a local park, which we're hoping to finally meet some of our members and hopefully find that like nice dedicated group of people that could hopefully take the reins soon enough. But yeah, we've got some local field trips planned, a trivia night. We were thinking of doing a movie documentary night, and then we could do cookie decorating along with that. But that's some of what we talked about. Maybe a few seminars from like advisors, and yeah, that's about it. We're trying to secure funding. It's been a little weird with VCU so far. We haven't heard back from him yet, and we're just trying to figure that out right now. But yeah, we're really excited for trying to grow this club. Hopefully, it'll be something that persists.
Cool. Congratulations. By the way, Sandra and I also have a colleague that's from VCU.
Oh, really? Was
Yeah.
it Dr. Holshoff?
No, Jessica Johnston. She works with us at the education.
I worked with her. I'm in the bug lab. I worked with her a couple years ago. Yeah.
Well, Jessica's been with us at ESA, going on 3 years now.
Wow. I'll have to get into contact with her.
Please do. I think her email is jjohnston at esa.org. I believe it's J Johnston. If not, I go by Fred at ESA. Sandra is Estandria. So the emails change. I think hers is J Johnston. Yeah, so something like that would be like bringing Jessica on and talking to the students there, and like as an alumni as well from the institution. For those that don't know Jessica, some of you might have met her at the meeting, at the annual meeting, but Jessica runs a really cool program also run by ESA, which is Scientists in Parks. It's meant to diversify what scientists look like within the National Park Service. And so it's super competitive, as you know, anything with national parks attached to it, and like being able to work in national parks and have direct hire authority, like it's a big program. She gets hundreds, if not thousands of applications for sometimes up to only 20, like 12 positions a year. But anyways, super awesome person, and alumni. So yeah, reach out to her for sure. Sorry, somebody's using the blender in my house. Anybody else that hasn't shared?
I think everybody has shared. Phoebe is from VCU as well, and Esther gave an overview of what they did at Agnes Scott. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if the meeting is short, it's short. And I really just giving a space. Again, I asked the group months back if they wanted to keep doing these meetings at least on a monthly basis. Their response was yes, that they like the informal-ish structure. That's not like a class, it's not like a meeting, but there is some structure around it. So that's what I make an agenda and try to like stick to that order, but also have a chance for you guys to see each other, ask questions, not to us, but also amongst each other. So yeah, and yeah, just.
Sandra, there is one more thing that we need to mention. And those of you might have received an email about the Seeds leadership meeting happening in November. So a message was sent out last week. The deadline is this Friday to nominate students. So it's always a hard decision to see what chapters get to participate at this event. We do give priority to those chapters that we know that are active. For example, those chapters that have chapter grants, chapters that are new to Seeds. But that leadership meeting is actually a really cool event that'll be happening in November in conjunction with our current ESA president, Sharon Kalinge, over at Tucson. It'll be about resiliency and community and outreach. I'm terribly sorry for the background noise. But the idea is to get students to collaborate more and to work as a network and as a cohorts throughout the Seeds program. So I'm very excited about that. So some of you, again, budgeted, like always, budget is tight, spaces are limited. We could wish we could bring more students to this event, but some of you will get to attend. And yeah, the whole idea is to bring what you learned from the leadership meeting back to your own community on campus, and to possibly develop activities that can be spread at the national level within Seeds, and to develop and push the boundaries of what Seeds is and evolve the program. A lot comes out of the NAT like leadership meeting, including publications and so forth. So stay tuned for that. We will have another monthly check-in in October. And again, just reach out to us and let us know what you want to hear from us. We have some ideas. We have some things already on the calendar. But please, 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 always feel free to send us that message through either through social media or to our emails. Sandra and I are doing our best to keep in touch with you guys and answer those as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think everyone here, I didn't include it in the agenda because I didn't know who was going to attend, right? And not everyone gets invited, not all chapters get invited, but I think everyone here was invited. So yeah, and we don't tell, and this is a first for me. I haven't been to a leadership meeting, so this is like a new process. So apologies if like it's confusing. It's new to me, but it was sent not to you guys, and you're not doing anything wrong. It was sent first to your faculty advisor. That's to avoid, students nominating themselves, because we really want, first to perhaps the faculty, they know, this student in particular, they really have that, like, they would take a good advantage of this opportunity. And if they really want to leave it to the seats, leadership, student leadership, we respect that, but we let them have that first, like, step, and I guess filter. I don't like to use that term, but kind of like a filter, and say like, okay, yeah, and they can pass the baton if they wish. So
Yeah, we can say why. We've had chapter leaders nominate themselves, or in actually a couple cases, like their partners, and they come with like their boyfriend or girlfriend, and that's not okay, and there's no way of filtering that. So we give faculty priority. Blame those students. In the meantime, all of those on the call are actually going to participate, or get a student to participate at this event. This is a really cool thing about the leadership meeting. It is not an application-based SEEDS experience. You are nominated to attend this event. The idea is to keep you involved with the program, and to also use you and your experience as a tool to reach more students and to get them involved in the program. I'm going to use this time just because I know that we have some first timers here on the call. One of the very cool things about SEEDS is that, well, we're a diversity program, we're a mentoring program within the science of ecology, but we're also scientists. And the really cool thing is data is awesome, and doesn't matter, like, we still publish. And so it's important for us to look at the data of our students, and our data suggests that participating in one or more of these sponsored travel activities highly increases your likelihood of, keeping a career within the ecological sciences by like 92%. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Our numbers suggest that, we want you guys to stay active and participate. And I've always said this, the best SEEDS students would be a fresh-eyed, bushy-like freshman just into college, and we can like sponsor them to come for 4 years to events and get the full experience, and hopefully understand what ecology field really is, and then go to graduate school and continue on that path. And so that being said, please, these are all knowledge and experiences to share amongst your peers, and encouraging them to apply. The application process, like I said, it's fairly simple. The selection process is actually fairly simple as well. It's done by your peers, by SEEDS alumni. So please keep always those doors open for other students to be able to participate in these events. And as always, I look forward to like getting to know more, from each and every one of you. And if you're the one that gets to come to the leadership meeting, it's a really cool event that we'll be hosting in Tucson, like we said. And yeah, it's a lot. It's like 5 days of intense science. And it's not about the data. That's the cool thing about leadership meeting. It's about the impact of that data. So we do science communication, policy. Again, we're going to be a resiliency center. So we're looking at, sustainability. How can we adapt to quicker change, and so forth. So all these cool things are happening this semester in SEEDS. Towards the end of the semester, we always have our SPUR fellows, our partnership for undergraduate fellowship. So that's also open towards the end of the fall semester. So stay tuned for that. We'll have a lot of announcements. I still don't have a list of how many partners or how many students we'll have, but it'll be a cool experience nonetheless. So if you're not familiar with the fellowship, it's an all-in-one inclusive package into what the SEEDS program is. It's a fully funded summer research experience. And then you get to participate in a SEEDS field trip, a SEEDS leadership meeting, and also present your research at the ESA annual meeting. So it's a pretty big deal. It's the highest award within the SEEDS program. And with that, I will end my spiel for you tonight. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, I know Nick had the comment that it's during COP 27, and yeah, it overlaps like those last days. So
The weekend before Thanksgiving?
yeah.
Is it really?
yeah, it's like 1 week to more than 1 week. It's like from November 6th through like the 18th. So it
Oh, wow.
overlaps those last like days. Are you going to Egypt?
Yeah, not for the whole
Oh,
time,
okay.
That's why dropping it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're not gonna miss you in Tucson then. You know, you enjoy your North
We're gonna be in
African
a different
like,
desert.
conference. Exactly. See, that's the thing, nonprofit. We don't get to go to school events either.
No,
But
but
congratulations, by the way.
yes,
That's an
and-
amazing experience for an undergraduate. We had
Yeah.
a lot of students participate also. I think it was in the Paris. CSU had some students and another one of the, the big green conferences. So congratulations. The whole idea behind us is, the science community is still a very small portion of the human population. And so we need to do a better job at educating people about what we do and the importance of that, because it affects all of us. And so going to these big conferences, congratulations as an undergraduate, is actually a pretty cool and big deal. So
Thanks. I'm also getting
the rest of
so it's like
the rest of us will be slumming it in Tucson. It's okay.
Yeah, no worries, Phoebe. Thanks for joining. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is like the typical thing with scheduling. There's, it's difficult, like some different time zones and different schedules. So yeah, even for these meetings, I mean, it's like, I try to schedule it at an overall okay time, but I know it's difficult for those in the Pacific. And yeah. But hey, you get to nominate someone else from Emory. So that's also a good, like, I think that also speaks of you as a leader, or if your professor did it, it speaks about the chapter, right? So it's all for the benefit of the chapter. So anyway,
Well, cool.
are there any more announcements? Anybody want to share more professional development activities? We can say, well, good night from Puerto Rico, and thank you for joining this call. And of course, if you have any questions, we're here. You can email us, DM us in Instagram, through Seeds, and yeah, or even call us. So we're here to help you. Okay.
All right. Everybody have a good night. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.